All right, man. Let's talk about this, man. I kind of seen like somebody posted rankings, which it had to be a parody ranking of the Detroit Lions quarterbacks. And I might be in the minority here. Maybe I'm tripping. I feel like Jared Goff, maybe outside of Bobby Lane, is the greatest Detroit Lions quarterback out there. You know what I'm saying? Like they sit here and praise Matthew Stafford when he absolutely won nothing. You know what I'm saying? And Goff has already won a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, 1-2 took him to the NFC Championship game last year. Apparently, according to that short quarterbacks, he had an ankle injury, and that's what happened. I mean, he's already done more. You could talk about Stafford didn't have. Stafford had teams, and you go to LA, and for him to be successful, I think Sean McVay played an important part in that. Also, a new change of scenery helps play a very important part of that. But for the most part, when he won that Super Bowl, didn't he lead the league in interceptions? It was really in the situation. It was despite him. It was despite him. I mean, they really souped that team up. I felt like if they souped that team up the way they souped it up, would have did it for Goff, they would have won the Super Bowl with Goff. And in my opinion, they probably would have won it more comfortably with Goff. And I'm just keeping it real. It ain't like, okay, he took the same team to the Super Bowl. You feel what I'm saying? No. Y'all understand that team had Eric Weddle, they had Eric Weddle, added Odell Beckham, added Von Miller. They added a couple guys over there. That team had a few Hall of Famers over there. They added quite a few guys over there. And they really basically purchased their way to the Super Bowl. And that's fine. I have no issue with it. But acting like, he took the same team to the Super Bowl, that's not true. That's not true. And, Jared Goff, he may not be a sexy pick, but what he's done in Detroit is, since Bobby Lane, there hasn't been a quarterback that has been able to do what he's doing. And it may, he's winning football games. Y'all can say, well, everything is perfect around him, and I mean, shit, it ain't his fault that the regime, ran the football. And there was rumors out there that Matthew Stafford would refuse to run the football in Detroit. He didn't want to run it. He didn't want to run it. So, yeah, I do have sunglasses somewhere, quite a few pair around here. So, yeah, I just feel like, it ain't really no competition. Like, Jared Goff is the best line quarterback since Bobby Lane. I mean, the numbers, the proof's in the pudding. What's the crazy thing about this generation? They look at plus, minus, look at all these stats, yardage. The one stat that they don't put stock in is winning anymore. And I feel it. I get it, with the participation trophy award where everybody's a winner and nobody's a loser. I get it. I get what they're conditioning them to be, these kids to be. Social media has conditioned people to, it's just about getting the money. Get the money. It's more about get the money than win. It's crazy time. At one point, this country used to be bred kids on winning. It wasn't about equality or hurting somebody's feelings. It was about there was winners and there was going to be whiner losers. And that made the country tough. And now we got a bunch of athletes who don't compete no more. Ain't no more competition. Ain't too many more rivalries left. But to me, he won. He won. He got the numbers to back it up. He won. And let's keep it real. You don't have an Ndamukong Suh. You don't have a Calvin Johnson. I mean, I know those are the two elite people. And I'm going to talk about what Sue said, I believe, on Woodward Sports. I'll talk about it. I had to put it in my notes. Other than that, I already been talked about it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm more of a motherfucker who about winning. That's what I want to do, win. But as far as arm talent, Matthew Stafford was fucking amazing. The things that he can do with the football and the things he doing in LA. I mean, that last drive when it started and it just magically started snowing in Philly, he was about to go down there and win that game if it wasn't for the snow. They was driving in the snow, and it just, Philly had a hellified defense, Jalen Carter, you know what I'm saying, and them boys, they play hard. He was about to go down and win that hole. He was going down there. Hey, it was going to be in the NFC Championship game. And then magically started snowing on their last drop, and he still drove them. And I respect that. I thought he was an underrated athlete in Detroit with his wheels. The arm talent was, when you start talking about people throw the football, I mean, it's like Dan Marino. He's the standard. But then you start the next tier, Rodgers, Stafford, Elway, just talking about straight slinging it. You start just talking about straight slinging it. I think that's like really the next tier. That's really the people that just really sling it. I think Mahomes can, he right there. But straight slinging that thing, yeah, they an elite company. Favre, Mahomes, Marino is the diamond club. There ain't no disputing it. Nobody threw a football like Dan Marino. You start talking about honorable mentions like Warren Moon, but just people that you really enjoy watching tossing it. For me personally, I've not enjoyed being a Lions fan. I've not enjoyed a quarterback throwing the ball more than Matthew Stafford. There been a lot of those games on, in person, on TV. Stafford is the greatest floor thrower of the football that I really was able to see up close and personal and admire. Yeah, even on Madden, he was a beast. So I'm not sitting here to shit on the guy. I'm here to speak facts. But Goff is by far, he's there. I mean, the bar was low, and Stafford came into a situation where they were 0-16. Came in a situation where the owner cared more about dividends than wins. So let's not shortchange him on that. Maybe he went through a different situation. We might be having a different conversation about his career, but everything happens for a reason. But Goff, he didn't come in a situation too much better than that. And, he had his trials and tribulations. But, he won. And he's put up impressive numbers. And us losing in San Francisco, it wasn't his fault. Keep telling y'all that. It wasn't. If they had Jake Bates in San Francisco, they would have won that. So let me just say that. He would have made that kick. You didn't touch Bagley to make that kick. We didn't lose because he threw the ball low, and he threw it low, and Reynolds should have, But honestly, it was a play before that. When on 3rd and short, they handed it off to St. Brown instead of doing something else. So, you live and you learn. Last year, he threw the pick, and it was a bad play call. The game plan was terrible. Not here to harp on it again, but it was terrible. But yeah, he's a phenomenal football player. He's outside of Bobby Lane. He's the Lions' GOAT. And the Detroit has embraced him because we ain't had a quarterback win like him in a long time. Last playoff win was Eric Kramer. He was the backup. So yeah, Goff is royalty right now. He won the Super Bowl. It's nothing that anybody can do to supplant him in this city. So yeah, he can throw the football. Let's give him credit. The accuracy that he throw with is a fucking amazing, bro. Like across that middle, short, intermediate. And then we see these athletes, they had their ups and downs. You don't know what they're going through. Like football, it's always an injury. It's always an injury. You don't know what these guys be going through. So learning he had an ankle injury make a lot of sense. So that's why I kind of get credit to. That's why I kind of get credit to guys like Vic, Lamar Jackson, and small, guys like that. Like at one point who ran the football, and you still able to run the football, the week 5, the week 10, the week 16, like that shit is impressive. You still able to play quarterback. I mean, shout out to the running backs too. And shout out to the dudes like Sean Alexander and Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and Terrell Davis and LT and Marshall Faulk. I mean, Eric Dickerson, guys that was workhorses. Walter Payton rookie year. Go look up that. It's one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. Shout out to Chicago shit Care Bears. Like, how you able to take that amount of pounding? No Diddy, no Harvey Weinstein, no Kevin Spacey, no Chicago Bears. And you able to make it through a season like that, let alone a career. Like, y'all don't know the amount of abuse that go into football, bro. It's abusive. Getting your body ready for football season is abusive. like it's abusive. So him having an ankle injury, not using an excuse, it doesn't surprise me. They are playing with injuries. And he saw some of the smaller quarterbacks, like, Drew Brees and Baker Mayfield and guys like that take a beating like that is just fucking bananas, bro. I don't know how they do it. But yeah, Goff is the best line quarterback since Bobby Lane. I really don't think there's no way to argue around it. He's an MVP candidate, been a Pro Bowler, and his numbers really scream all pro. But you already know, if Reebok make a shoe that look better than the Jordan 10 or the Jordan 12, nobody gonna admit it. They gonna say, "I would still take the Jordan because it's a Jordan." That's just what it is. A lot of times when you get labels, what they say, you can't unlame a lame. I don't really see no problem with being a lame. Who cares? But a lot of times you can't unlame a lame. A lot of times you just can't. They can't unsee it or unlabel it. So, she be running. I'll be wondering why she be walking around here all the time. She must be getting ready for volleyball season. Shout out to the kids getting out here running and shit. So yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to Goff, man. I give Goff a lot of love. A lot of love. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button, it's the bell icon button, and all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Check out Detroit Lions Talk, play more videos like this. Peace.